Wassup Agents, epic fucking slayers here. Welcome back to a brand new Division video. Today we're going to look at 15 changes, some of them very important changes that were released in today's 1.8 patch notes. If you enjoy this one, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's do this. Alright agents, so I think the best way of going over these 15 changes that you may have missed is to put them into 3 different sort of categories. Number 3 being the least important, 2 in the middle, and then number 1 being the most important. For you guys, I'll start off with the most important because I think that's what you guys want to hear about. The first one, increased grenade cooldown from 3 to 6 seconds. I think that's a massive change. That's double cooldown on a grenade. That could be because of Rogue 2.0 and the grenade spam argument, but I think it's a good one as well. So yeah, you should see a lot less grenade sort of spam in 1.8 due to the fact that cooldown is going to be there effectively. Moving on, crit hit chance reduced by 50% when hip firing. I mean, hip firing has been completely nerfed in 1.8. It's nerfed already and they've just nerfed it even more effectively. There's really no point to hip fire at all in 1.8. Moving on, Adept will now have a single stack. So at the moment, with Adept in 1.7.1, you can actually stack it 5 times, giving you, I believe it's 37.5 crit chance when fully stacked. In 1.8, you're going to only be able to get that 7.5% base, which means that you may actually see a return of Savage Gloves on an Assault Rifle build, for example, which gives you that constant 7%, as opposed to having Adept, for example, as a talent. I do not think Adept will really be used in 1.8 any longer, and you'd much prefer going for something that's just going to give you base damage, like Responsive, you know, Deadly, and say something like Competent, for example. Moving on to the removed ability to activate First Aid while firing. I know a lot of people are not happy about this, and maybe people have forgotten about this, but you will no longer be able to fire and heal at the same time. You can aim your gun and heal, but you will not be able to fire and heal at the same time, which just reduces the skill gap a little bit more. If there was a skill gap, of course, a little bit more in 1.8, which I'm not particularly happy with, but it is what it is. One big change I didn't even know was coming, improvement to the shooting range in order to enable agents to test some of the new gear talents. So does that mean if I'm running, say for example, a 6-piece Predators build, that I can test the bleed that I'm going to be doing on targets in 1.8 in the shooting range? Because I didn't know that was a feature that was coming in 1.8, and I'm pretty sure I've not seen many people cover that, if any people. So we'll have to see exactly how that's going to work, but that seems like a massive change to me, and some of that's been, well, completely overlooked. So those are, for me, the most important changes. Now we're going to move on to Category 2. Starting off in Category 2, and we've got removed reticle from hip firing. So as I said with Category 1, with that 50% reduction in crit hit chance, we've now got the reticle being removed whilst hip firing. I mean, hip firing is completely pointless in 1.8. It's pointless in 1.7.1 at the moment, but just to add that sort of insult to injury, 1.8, no point in hip firing whatsoever. Another point here is turn speed for all agents has been slightly increased. Now, I wasn't sure if I should put this as a very sort of important change because I really don't know what effect it's going to have, in the sense I don't know how much it's going to change. So I'll have to test it in 1.8, but what it seems to me is if it's been slightly increased, it may be easier to... I'm not sure if it's during ADS or not. Then it just make that sort of combat flow a little bit better. So we'll have to see how that works out in 1.8 because I'm not entirely sure about that at the moment. The next one is vote to kick group members, available when 3 or 4 members, and also when the agent joins your group, they will be immune for 3 minutes. I think that's a really good change because a lot of times you join a group and you look at their power level, whatever it is, I can't remember, gear score. Why am I saying power level? Their gear score, and you go, nah, not good enough, or sometimes even their names can put you off, whatever the case may be. You inspect that person, you're not happy with them, you've got to wait 3 minutes to kick them, you might as well just play with them and see how you get on. I can say from experience that I've played with people who have far less gear scores than me. I look at their gear, I'm like, there's no way that's going to work, and they completely surprise me. So really happy with this change in the game. And really guys, that is really it for Category 2, and now we're going to move on to Category 3, which are the least important changes, but still changes guys, so I think you should stick around for them. Alright, so moving on to the least important changes. So, number 1, commendations added for every new activity. Pretty obvious, but with Skirmish, Underground 2.0, Dark Zone stuff changing, then we've got Resistance, there's going to be new commendations which you guys will want to obtain, and that actually directly links into another change that's come out, or not change, fix actually, so maybe it's not part of this video, but they've made a lot of fixes to commendations. So if you've ever had trouble before with getting commendations, or you think you've done a commendation or an activity to get a commendation, hopefully these fixes will have changed that. Moving on, we've got removed sticky bomb detonation. Are we going to see the return of sticky bomb in 1.8? It's very unlikely, but removing that detonation, I think, is a good idea because sticky bomb at the moment no one uses. It's a completely pointless talent, and I actually think we should go back. I think they should keep the detonation, but actually increase the power of a sticky bomb. I don't want to be one-shot by a sticky bomb again, but I at least want to feel it. At the moment, there's really no point, and with the increase in stamina as well, I mean, it's just going to be absolutely no point using sticky bomb unless you're using it for something like disrupt, for example, which will be actually really strong against striker in 1.8. Moving on, last stand and skirmish rank will now be called a PvP rank, and that includes Dark Zone as well, and that will go from level 40 up to, actually that doesn't include Dark Zone, what am I talking about? A skirmish and last stand, it will actually go up to level 99, and I believe when you go up those levels you can actually have a chance to get classified gear in that, so that's a really good change. Moving on, cipher key fragments now obtainable in last stand caches. Something I didn't know about, and I think that's a really good thing to add to last stand caches. At the moment, it just seems as though you go in last stand and you get caches, you get gear which you've already had a million times. So being able to get those cipher key fragments, I hope the drop's pretty good, means you can actually work towards getting more vanity items in the game, which a lot of people want to do, and I certainly want to do myself. Now moving on to the last two, decreased opacity of loot pillars while in combat. I had to read that twice because I'm not sure what it meant, but what it means is when gear drops in something like Dark Zone, for example, and you find someone, at the moment the colours are quite opaque, it's quite hard to see through them, but in 1.8 they're actually going to reduce that, so the opacity will be a lot lower, and so effectively they'll be harder to see, and thus if you're fighting someone they won't get in the way. That's pretty much what it is, and that's really it, guys. I mean, the last point I made was endless fixes to accommodations, which I've just fucking realised isn't actually a change, it's more of a fix. So maybe this video should be called 14 changes as opposed to 15. 15 sounds better, so we're going to keep it that way. I hope you did enjoy that one. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and until next time, Epic out.